In today's noisy world, silence has become rare. We wake up to notifications, scroll through endless feeds, and fill every quiet moment with noise. Not what if peace isn't found in the noise, but in the quiet. Silence is not emptiness. It's full of meaning. It's a space where your thoughts slow down, your emotions soften, and your inner voice becomes clear. Rewiring your brain begins when you stop feeding it constant noise and start allowing silence to heal it. Silence is like a reset button. When you allow yourself to sit quietly, no music, no phone, no talking, you begin to notice your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. Over time, your brain learns that peace doesn't depend on external comfort. It's a skill. Silence trains your mind to stop chasing distractions and find contentment in stillness. Just 10 minutes of silence daily can start to change the way you think, feel, and react. It teaches patience, focus, and emotional balance, things no app or self-help book can truly give you. The journey toward peace begins with learning to be comfortable in silence. Your brain is always active. It loves to think, plan, worry, and remember. But most of these thoughts are repetitive and negative. Scientists say that we think around 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are the same as yesterday. This means your brain is stuck in loops. You can't find peace if you're replaying old problems and future fears all day. The first step in rewiring your brain is awareness. Notice how often your mind jumps from one worry to another. Notice how uncomfortable you feel when things get quiet. That discomfort is your brain's addiction to noise. It's used to distraction because silence exposes what's inside. Your fears, insecurities, and regrets. But that's exactly why silence is powerful. It helps you face yourself. Instead of running away from your thoughts, you learn to observe them. Slowly, your brain begins to understand that not every thought deserves your attention. This shift, watching instead of reacting, is the start of real peace. You don't silence the mind by force, you train it to rest. We spend our lives trying to control everything: people, situations, outcomes. But control is an illusion. The more you try to control, the more anxious you become. Silence helps you see this truth. When you sit quietly, you begin to notice how your thoughts want to fix everything. But silence teaches surrender. It whispers, you don't have to control everything to be okay. This doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the flow of life. Your brain starts to rewire when it learns to let go. Every time you choose calm over control, your neural pathways strengthen around peace, not panic. You become less reactive, more patient, and more centered. The need to rush or prove yourself fades away. You realize that peace doesn't come from solving everything. It comes from accepting what is. This simple truth can change your whole life if you practice it daily in moments of silence. Silence is not just an absence of sound, it's a healing space. When your mind is constantly stimulated, it never gets to rest. It's like running a machine 24/7. Eventually, it burns out. Stillness allows your brain to recover. It reduces stress hormones, restores focus, and increases emotional clarity. The moment you stop chasing stimulation, your brain begins to repair itself. In silence, your breathing slows, your muscles relax, and your nervous system calms. You start noticing simple things again. the rhythm of your breath, the beating of your heart, the beauty of being alive. This awareness rewires your brain from chaos to calm. You stop being a prisoner of urgency. The world moves fast, but you learn to move with grace. Stillness becomes your inner medicine. It doesn't come from outside, it grows from within. Every time you choose to pause and listen to the quiet. Most of our stress comes from living in the past or the future. We replay mistakes or worry about what's next. But peace lives only in one place, the present moment. Silence anchors you there. When you sit in quiet, you stop time for a moment. Your attention returns to now, where nothing is missing. This is where your brain learns calmness. It starts realizing that peace doesn't come from having everything figured out, but from appreciating what's right in front of you. The sound of your breath, the warmth of sunlight, the stillness around you, all remind you that life is happening now, not later. The more you train your brain to stay in the present, the less anxiety and fear control you. Silence becomes your teacher, showing you that peace isn't something to find. It's something to remember. It's always been within you, waiting in the quiet. We live in a world that celebrates speed, fast results, fast replies, fast success. But the faster you move, the less you feel. Your brain becomes overstimulated, constantly jumping from one task to another. This leaves no room for peace. Silence, however, slows everything down. It teaches you the beauty of stillness, where nothing needs to be done and nothing needs to be fixed. When you slow down, you start noticing life again. The colors of the sky, the small acts of kindness, the taste of food, the sound of your own breathing. These simple moments bring peace that no achievement can. Rewiring your brain begins with this slowing down. When your mind isn't rushing, it begins to focus better and think clearer. You start doing things with more purpose and less pressure. The silence becomes your reminder that not everything needs to be urgent. Real growth is quiet, steady, and slow. The world tells you to hurry. Silence tells you to trust the pace of your own journey. Overthinking is the biggest thief of peace. It traps you in a cycle of what-ifs and should-haves. The brain gets addicted to solving imaginary problems that don't even exist. But silence cuts through that mental noise. When you allow yourself to sit quietly and breathe, you create space between you and your thoughts. That space is freedom. It's where you realize that not every thought deserves your energy. The brain starts to calm when you stop feeding it constant analysis. Silence teaches you to replace overthinking with observing. You simply watch your thoughts come and go, without judgment, without attachment. Slowly, the storm settles. You start realizing how much time you wasted worrying about things beyond your control. Your brain rewires itself for peace, not panic. You begin to live lighter, speak softer, and think clearer. Overthinking loses power when silence becomes your habit. Most people live their lives trying to be seen, liked, or approved by others. This endless need for validation keeps the brain restless. You're constantly adjusting who you are to fit what others expect. But silence breaks that pattern. When you sit alone, with no audience and no approval to chase, you start hearing your real self again. The silence reminds you that you are already enough. You don't need to prove your worth. through achievements or attention. The brain rewires when it realizes that peace doesn't come from others. It comes from self-acceptance. Every moment of quiet strengthens your confidence from within. You stop seeking validation and start living authentically. You begin to say no without guilt and yes without fear. Silence becomes your mirror, reflecting who you truly are, without filters or opinions. That's the foundation of inner peace, being comfortable with your own presence. Many people fear being alone because they confuse loneliness with solitude. Loneliness is when you crave others. Solitude is when you enjoy yourself. Silence transforms loneliness into strength. It teaches you that your own company is enough. When you stop running from silence, you start discovering your thoughts, passions, and purpose. You realize that peace isn't found in others. It's found in the connection you build with yourself. The brain starts to associate solitude with safety, not fear. It learns that being alone isn't a punishment, but an opportunity to grow. In silence, you recharge, reflect, and reconnect with your true self. You stop depending on noise or people to fill the emptiness, because the emptiness becomes peaceful. This mental shift rewires you from neediness to wholeness. You learn that solitude isn't isolation, it's self-discovery. And when you know yourself deeply, no silence feels empty again. Silence creates the perfect space for gratitude. When the world is quiet, you begin to see how much you already have. You start appreciating the simple things: a roof over your head, food on your plate, the people who care, and the breath that keeps you alive. Gratitude rewires your brain more powerfully than anything else. It changes your focus from what's missing to what's present. Each time you sit in silence and think of what you're thankful for, your brain releases chemicals that promote joy and calm. You begin to live in abundance, not lack. Even in hard times, you start noticing small blessings. Gratitude in silence transforms your energy. It makes your heart softer, your mind clearer, and your spirit lighter. You realize that peace isn't about having a perfect life. It's about recognizing the good that's already there. The more you practice gratitude in quiet moments, the more peaceful your brain becomes. Inside every person is a quiet voice that knows the truth, but most of the time, that voice is drowned out by the noise of fear, doubt, and outside opinions. Silence helps you reconnect with it. When your surroundings grow quiet and your thoughts begin to settle, you start hearing that inner voice again. The one that gently guides you toward what's right for you. It doesn't shout, it whispers. The brain begins to rewire when you start trusting this inner guidance more than external noise. It's like tuning a radio. The more static you remove, the clearer the signal becomes. Your intuition sharpens, your decisions improve, and your heart feels lighter. Silence becomes your teacher and your guide, showing you that wisdom was never outside. It was always within you. When you learn to listen without distraction, you discover that you already have the answers you've been searching for. The more you listen, the more peaceful and confident you become, because now you are aligned with your truth. We are taught to always stay busy, to work harder, achieve more, and never stop. But this constant doing leaves no space for being. Silence teaches the importance of balance. Just like the body needs rest after exercise, the mind needs quiet after thinking. When you give your brain silence, it processes emotions, organizes memories, and resets focus. Without silence, you burn out, physically and mentally. Rewiring your brain means respecting the rhythm between effort and ease. You can work with passion and still take time to rest without guilt. Silence reminds you that resting isn't wasting time. It's recharging your energy. When your mind is calm, your creativity expands and your productivity actually improves. The brain functions best when it has moments of peace between periods of effort. You stop living in survival mode and start living with intention. In this balance, peace and progress can coexist beautifully. One of the greatest lessons silence teaches is acceptance. Most people suffer not because of what happens, but because they resist what happens. They replay events, wish things were different, and create endless "why me" stories. Silence helps you break that pattern. When you sit quietly with your pain, you begin to see it differently. You stop fighting reality and start accepting it. Acceptance doesn't mean weakness. It means strength. It means you're no longer wasting energy on what you can't change. This rewires the brain from resistance to resilience. Every time you choose acceptance, your mind grows calmer and your heart grows stronger. You learn to let life unfold as it is, not as you wish it to be. Peace isn't found in control, it's found in allowing. And when you master acceptance, you carry peace with you even in chaos. Silence teaches you that some things don't need fixing, they just need understanding. Peace doesn't come from one big moment, it comes from small, daily habits. One of the most powerful habits you can create is a few minutes of silence every day. It doesn't matter where, early in the morning, before sleep, or even during a lunch break. Just sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe. No phone, no music, no distractions. Let your mind settle like still water. In those moments, you reconnect with your true self. Over time, your brain learns that silence is safe and peaceful, not empty or boring. It begins to crave quiet more than chaos. You'll notice that your reactions soften, your focus sharpens, and your mood stabilizes. This is how rewiring truly happens, through consistency. The brain builds peace like a muscle, one quiet moment at a time. Don't underestimate the power of a few minutes of stillness. It can transform your entire mindset, helping you move through life with calm confidence. The ultimate stage of rewiring your brain for peace is realizing that peace was never missing. It was always inside you. The noise of the world made you forget. Once you embrace silence as your friend, you stop searching for peace in relationships, success, or possessions. You start living as peace itself. You become calm in chaos, steady under stress, and kind in conflict. Your presence starts to affect others. Your calm becomes contagious. Silence has reshaped your brain, teaching it that happiness isn't about control, but about connection. With yourself, with life, and with the present moment. The journey doesn't end, it deepens. Every day you choose silence, you return home to your natural state of clarity and peace. You realize that you don't need to escape the noise of the world. You just need to find the silence within. That is true freedom. That is true peace. Thank you for our video.